Hey y'all, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thankful Thursday. Y'all already know what it is. I'm excited. Today is about to be so turned. Y'all know I've been talking about it all week, and I'm super excited because let's be clear. I got a guest, and y'all already know. I know y'all saw the flyers. I know y'all see me talk about it. I love when I have people I can talk with. I love when I have people that like a good conversation and can add to the conversation about just life and about this mental health stuff and this wholeness. So I think y'all in for a treat. You really are in for a treat. So y'all know what I do when I first start. I'm sharing it. So I'm gonna make sure I share it. So while I'm sharing it, I need y'all to share. Okay, y'all already know how it's supposed to be. Share, 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 so that we can get this on and popping because everybody needs to be here. This is a conversation with all of us. So when y'all come in here, come on and say hi, hello to me so that I can know that y'all here and we can get this party going, right? How was your day? I hope y'all had a good day. I hope everything is feeling good. I hope you rocking and you had a wonderful, productive day. I hope you weren't too stressed out. And I'm hoping that if you're feeling thankful, it's Thankful Thursday. You got to feel thankful. You got to have some type of gratitude. So come on in, and then I'm going to show y'all who I have. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Mom. How are you? Love you. I'm waiting for a few more people to come in. I just shared it to my page. I shared it to my guest page. I know you hear me. And I also shared it to a few other people. So, I think it's time. I try not to go too fast. I want to let a few people in, especially when I know it's people that's loving to come in and be a part of the conversation. So I'm going to give y'all a few more minutes to come in and be situated. You know what I say? I'm going to give you some seconds to come sit down. Come sit down so we can start class. So y'all come on in so we can go ahead and start class. And just having a conversation. I hope y'all can see me pretty well. Yeah, I think the glare is not too bad if I sit back a little bit like this. So while I'm waiting for a few more of you guys to come in, I just want to give my intro. So we just came out of a wonderful series for Men's Mental Health Month, which I dubbed it as so nobody correct me because I know that it's really in June now, but I made it on this show, Men's Mental Health Month. And so it was awesome because I really wanted men to understand that we had that they have a voice, and that I'm not only talking to women, I'm talking to men as well. And so that went over really well with my guest, and it was I think it was really just a good conversation all the way around. And it was not really gender specific, but it was directed at the man. So now that this is Women's History Month, I was like, you know what? I definitely wanted to do something for the women because y'all hold me down, y'all rock with me. So I definitely want to do that. And so what better thing do we love to talk about but relationships? We love relationships. We love them because we are in them. We cherish them. Relationships are how we move around and how we get down. And so that's why I want to talk about not just relationships. I want to talk about healthy relationships because, baby, guess what? Every relationship we have is not healthy. And a lot of people don't even know what that means, right? So hey, JC, I wanted to invite on somebody who I know had a good feel for what it's like to be in relationship, and then what happens if that doesn't necessarily end how you think it's going to end, and what to do then. So I'm going to bring on my friend. I'm going to introduce her. Here we go. Hey, Debra.
How you do, Paris girl? How you doing?
I am good. I'm so grateful that you decided to come on. This is Debra Givens, and I know her. I met her through my church, and she is a beautiful soul. She is a professional, but she's also a mother of 3 beautiful daughters, and she is a divorcee that has overcome some amazing things and lives a whole life. And I think that's why I brought her on, because to watch how she moves and how she, carries herself through all that adversity is pretty spectacular. So I'm introducing her to you all. Debra, say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Yeah. So I'm gonna get right into it. I know y'all kind of stream in, y'all trickle in as you're coming. So I'm sure that you will be. Deborah, I tagged you in it, so it should be on your page as well. So hopefully your people come in as well. And everybody, y'all know how we do it. We just we start commenting once I go. So let's get right to it. Healthy relationships. Well, but I'll recap. When I talked about healthy relationships, I was saying that what I believe it consists of is having good communication. Oh, sorry. Having good communication, having mutual trust, mutual respect, and having being able to be your authentic self and have some autonomy, right? Those were the things I believe consist of a healthy relationship. And that's not just romantic. That's, with friendships, that's mother child. I mean, well, not mother child. That's parent child and child parent. And that's also career or even associates, like all of that, right? So really understanding what a healthy relationship looks like. And when you understand what a healthy relationship and you're able to assess it, then you can understand what toxic relationships look like, or what dysfunctional are. And then not beating yourself up about the fact that you might not be in the healthy relationship that you thought you were, and then understanding what your next steps are. So Deborah, I'm gonna let's kick this off of as you grew up, life started, when you thought about relationships, were you even think about what a healthy relationship? Did you have a good concept of that coming up?
Um, I can say I had a concept of relationships. I can't say that all of it was healthy. I can say that, of course, I think when it comes to your parents and your surroundings, they give you what they know.
Yes.
And it's a totally different era. Certain things that we're comfortable talking to our children about now, it wasn't that way back then. So because it was not as open as it was or as it is now, you may not have gotten all the aspects of what true relationship, what it looks like to say that this is healthy. So I can't honestly say that, that I had the best example of healthy relationship seen, but I can say that there was, of course, relationship.
Absolutely. And I think that's and you brought up the perfect thing is that we all come up a certain way. And you don't know what you don't know. Let's just talk about that, right? You don't know what you don't know. A lot of us, if everybody's doing something or this is what you see, that seems normal. That seems relatively speaking. So it's one of those things of you don't know what you don't know. That's just it, right? And that's nobody's fault. That's just what it is. So let's talk about, because you were married, right?
I was married, yes.
Okay. And so coming into when we think of marriage, women, girls, women were brought up that is like the goal, right? That is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
You have arrived when you are proposed to, or when you set a date for marriage, you are like, baby, you are in now. This is what everybody wants. This is the thing. This is what you're striving for. And so when somebody hears, hey, I'm getting married or you're getting married, they are ecstatic and they're happy. And I'm sure you were. I'm sure you had the biggest smile on your face. I'm sure you were like, wow, this is a new chapter of my life. And it was exciting. So what happens when you're in this relationship and then something changes or something happens and it's not what you thought it was? So I'm gonna lean into you and say, like, what happens when what you were first excited about to be in this relationship with this person that you care about, that you love, seemingly is not what you signed up for? And what do you do when you notice that?
Let me just start by saying that I think what happens a lot with women is that we may sometimes put more value in the wedding and not in the relationship. And you made mention that that when it comes to your surroundings or as you was growing up, you can only be taught what you know. And in many situations, I think that you have to unlearn what you once learned. And sometimes before you realize it, you're already making adult decisions. So even though I was in a relationship with my ex and we did get married, of course, when certain things went on within the marriage, I think because we have a tendency, and when I say we, I mean women, sometimes we have a tendency to love hard and we think that we can fix, or we think we have the remedy to pull things together and make it happen the way we see it. So the fairy tale that we may envision, even though what's really happening is we become enablers to behavior that that needs to stop. And instead of confronting it, because maybe you didn't have that type of, you wasn't brought up that way, you do what you've seen. And from that, as it was spoken, what happens in the house stays in the house. And that's the culture, that we live in. So I just want to say that, when you are dealing with things that may need to be confronted, or you're allowing certain things because you're enabling it, it can be a problem that we're choosing to mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's you already dropped a couple of good points, like coming out the gate, which is perfect. Number one, you know, how many times people are in love with the wedding versus the relationship, or they believe once you found the person that's enough, and let's get to the altar, let's get to this relationship, let's get to the Valentine's Day post, let's get to the walking together in the park, let's get to having a home happy ever after, and don't realize that what is the foundation that we build on?
Right.
Have a foundation. Is it solid? Do we know what that foundation should be built out of? And like you said, what you don't know is what you don't know. A lot of I've even heard people say stuff like, I've heard so many different things, but one of the things I've heard is that, as you go, you'll get to know each other more. And I don't know how I feel about that, right? I'll say that you don't know anybody 100%, but I believe if you're going to make any investment, you should be invested in who you are going to go in a covenant, right? Because if we really believe that marriage is this covenant, we want to make sure that we put emphasis on that relationship. So like you already hit some points coming out the gate. So that's real good that you said that. And then like you said, the other part of it, what happens when we are raised to believe, to be quiet and be good and soft-spoken, right? Women are soft-spoken. We are supposed to be supporting the household. And if you speak up about something that you know is wrong, it can be looked at as being combative. It can be looked at as being, not supportive, and you don't trust your husband. So all of those things you had going on, just like the average person does, because we're taught that way, right? You want to be a good wife. You want to is good thing. You want to be the good thing you found. You don't want to be the difficult one, right?
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say that necessarily not speaking or either speaking up when matters did occur, but just to say that when it becomes repetitive and you have this sense of we can still make it work, decisions have to be made. It's almost like those negative cycles. You keep going through the negative cycles and you're going, or either you're finding yourself ending up in the same spot over and over and over again. And it becomes madness because it's the same behavior, but you want a different result. So I just think that with that, when you are able, I think, to have a good sense of self, when you have a good sense of self, then you're able to look at the bigger picture and realize this is madness. Somebody has to make a decision. So I think that is kind of the thoughts that I have as far as being able to speak up, identifying issues, coming to the understanding that it's a two-way street. We both have to be on the same page if we're going to make it work. And sometimes it just does not work, and you have to make a decision. Make a decision not out of your emotions, but out of the soundness of what's going on in that moment. Choosing to say, hey, am I going to stay stagnant in this? Or am I going to live the truth of who I am, who I am as an individual, the wholeness that I have, and then move in that? So.
And that's good. And like you said, the cycles, I love when you talked about the cycles. That is something that I think a lot of people find themselves in every type of relationship, but especially romantic, right? Because you do want it to work.
Right.
You want it to work. You want to see the best in somebody.
Right.
I don't think people innately want to see things fail. I think people really want things to work. And so they try, they put their energy into it, they put their effort into it. And the problem is not so much if you're putting your effort into it, it's more so if, like you said, if both sides are putting effort into it and realizing when there needs to be, like you said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? And the idea that, you know what, this is not changing. And it's becoming so much of a problem that it is affecting the whole relationship and it's affecting me to the point where I don't feel like we possibly can go on, at least not the same way, right? We can't go on this way. And having the courage to be able to say, you know what, I know this is what I wanted, and I know this is who I wanted it with. But like you said, not coming from an emotional place, coming out of your emotions, being, being practical, having conversations, So let's start there. When you realized this, were you able to have a conversation, or were you able to say, you know what, this is not working, and this is maybe let's try something to make it work better?
Absolutely. First of all, I had made a vow to whatever had occurred to forgive first. I did not want to make a decision out of my emotions, and I didn't want to make a decision knowing that I was upset about anything. So I had to make up in my mind that regardless of what way we chose, that I was going to forgive because I didn't want any regrets. And what I ultimately understood was that it was just not about me. It was just not my decision. I had 3 daughters that I had to take into consideration. And not only that, family. I love his family. They're still family to me. Of course, my family and everybody we're connected to would be affected by this decision. So understanding that the ball was in my court, but I didn't want to make a rash decision based on my emotions. And I vowed that. So, of course, there was a lot of conversation. And I don't think that you quickly move because something happens or something interrupts a pattern. I don't believe you do that. I believe that you have to take the time. You need to seek out wisdom. You need to allow yourself to be in a place where you can hear. And I can say this, that there came a time where a lot of opinions just stopped. And that's what I needed. I had a lot of strong support, and there came a time that the support just subsided. Things got quiet. But in that quietness was when I was able to make a decision based on everything that I needed to take into consideration to, for one, not to have any regrets. Because I know a lot of women, like I say, I speak to a lot of women. This forum is my first time doing it like this, but I speak to a lot of people. And what they sometimes try to do is create something that's not there. And I love love. Lord knows I love it. I love relationships. I love to see people happy. But I also love when people can be true to themselves. And when you can be true to you, then you can wake up and smell the coffee and really be able to have those conversations that's meaningful, especially if this is somebody who you want to invest in. So, of course, conversations can take place, but I think what you have pointed out, that is the antidote for a healthy relationship as far as conversation. But sometimes, people can have the tendency of their perception. A person's perception is their reality, regardless of how you see it. And I think that in that, whatever you may go through, good, bad, and ugly, there should be some growth. So when we're conversating, not only should I hear you, I should make a decision not to perceive what I think you said. So in other words, if I'm having a conversation, or have you ever had a conversation and you walk away from somebody and you say to yourself, oh, I should have said X, Y, and Z, or what did they mean by that? Well, while I'm conversing, right away, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, okay, how am I processing what's being said? So I can say that I have a tendency of saying, okay, let me just make sure that I'm clear. So that way I'm not walking away with what I think you said. And I've made a full case on something that I've imagined based on what I may be feeling like. Because if I'm dealing with jealousy, if I'm dealing with insecurities, it don't matter what someone says, they're going to automatically take it wrong. They're walking away and they're thinking with their head and their emotions and not thinking that I'm in this relationship and I'm trying to seek clarity. Because at the end of the day, we're on the same team. So I think when you have that break in communication, so yes, communication is important, but it's the quality of the communication that you're bringing to the table that matters, because that's going to say whether or not somebody walk away angry or somebody walk away with the understanding that this person got my back no matter what, but we're still going to walk in a sense of love toward each other to where we can get what we need to get out of this relationship. So of course, with that healthy relationship that you made mention comes maturity. And you got to remember, for me, I was married, or either I dealt with my ex or was with my ex since I was 15 years old. So it was a long period. And I think that, hey, we grew up. We grew up together. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of the qualities that you made mention, of course, they are the attributes to a relationship, but maturity within the relationship says it all.
You know what? You said so much there. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start at. You said a lot of good stuff. One of the things you said is a person's perception is their reality. Wholeheartedly agree with that, because a lot of times we respond out of what we view as our reality, and our perception can be filtered through our emotions. It is our perception is filtered through our emotions. What we perceive reality is whatever we're feeling. Like if I'm feeling hurt today and you say something like, hey, if you're at work and you say, hey, can you file this for me? If I'm feeling insecure already, I might feel like you're attacking me. Here she goes. My boss coming and tell me something again. I can never do anything right. And now I have this, I feel like I'm being attacked when that was not what was happening at all. So it depends on the mindset. And this is why we talk about mental health. This is why we talk about wholeness and wellness, because you're not in the right mindset. Forget about, like you said, it's about the quality of communication. You can communicate all you want, but if we are not hearing each other, and if we're not hearing each other from a healed place, and not only that, if we are walking in offense, because it is so easy to walk into what should be a conversation, but it comes out, you walking into a dispute, you walking into an attack, you're walking into, you're walking into the battleground. The minute you say something, it's like, here we go again. And now it's me against you, you against me, and you don't feel heard. You are defending. You're not even hearing. You're literally waiting for the next thing to say so you can win. Right. And it becomes a battleground. And now we're opponents, and we don't. Now it's not like we're on the same team. It feels like we're on different teams, like you said. And how do you move forward? So, and like you said, the thing is, like you guys were together since you were 15. I forgot that part. Wow. Young. So you were growing up together. You literally were getting to know your own self, and let alone trying to get to know each other and build a relationship. That's hard.
It's very hard. Extremely
hard. And, it's no book on it, right? You're doing what you can do the best way you can do it. And so that's important. Maturity, that's a piece that we don't talk about enough. And let me be clear. I'm gonna say this, which I think this now too, but it's relative. It's kind of not relative to what you said. Maturity is not always an age thing, right? Because some people are older and still are not mature when it comes to their emotions and not leading with it, right?
Right.
Being able to understand and be able to have, I like the word emotional intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be able to understand when you move, how you move, and when to access your mind versus accessing your heart. and your emotions and making sure that I can feel, but I'm not operating out of it, right?
Exactly.
So many good things. Oh my goodness. I want to read some of the comments just so I know people don't believe I'm ignoring them. Patricia, she said, yeah, when you were talking about the real you, she said, holding on to an illusion while walking in a way that is not your authentic self. So true.
That's good.
You know, and like you said, I'm in this fairy tale or perceived fairy tale and not really understanding that I don't even know who I am, and am I really being who I really want to be, or am I being who I think I should be?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
That's good. We have so many people that's in here with us, y'all coming in. I'm sorry, I normally shout y'all out as y'all coming in, but I do see you. Let's see. Anything else? Here's another thing. Patricia said, in most cases, when two individuals become a pair, they each bring used baggage that has never been checked that will cause problems after the honeymoon phase.
That's so true.
That's good. That's good. And not realizing that, right? You come in and not even realize that you have those things. You don't even realize you're carrying that baggage. You remember that song Bag Lady?
That's right. Everybody's right.
You don't realize you have that baggage with you until there's a couple of things that happen and you're like, wait a minute, I brought that too? Okay. Right.
And believe it or not, we all carry something into the relationship. Regardless of how you want to look at it, we all bring something to the relationship. So,
and being honest about that, right? Even if
honest,
it ends in infidelity or something, that's the thing about maturity, realizing that we all played a piece in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no one villain. Like we all, like if like I told someone before, well, it's funny. I always tell people this one thing. When I had a guy who cheated on me before, and I literally was like, someone was like, well, how did it end? What happened? I said, oh, he cheated on me and it was horrible. He broke my heart. And they said, no, what did you do? I said, he cheated on me. And they said, no, but what did you do? I said, I was cheated on. What are we talking about here? I didn't do anything. And I remember they kind of shook their head and they said, you're not ready yet. And I said, what? They said, you don't see your side of it. And I said, what? You trying to say I did something to make you on me? And she said, it's not about that. She said, but you're going to always be a victim if you don't understand your part and what you could have changed. If you had the situation presented in you another way, is there something that you would have saw? Is it something that you came with? And one of the things that I had to come back from and really analyze was I allowed myself to be treated that way. It was that happened. I did not come with my full worth. I did not know my full worth. I was happy to have somebody, and therefore anything, right? And I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna give him a chance. I saw his potential, these things, and I just went with that. And I had to realize that, you know what, I was part of the problem. I allowed some things to go on that really did teach him that this is okay, and I was with it.
And that's it. And that goes back to like that enabling spirit, that enabling way of thinking. You know, in my head, I'm going to make it better. I can do this. We can work it together, or however it may be. So whatever the infractions are, I think that when a person analyzes themselves and they understand their self-worth and they realize that, which let me just say this, because now I have a saying that I'm not a selfish individual, and anybody that know me knows that I'm not selfish. But I have learned to be selfish in the area of my peace. My peace is important to me. So I think like this, that of course, if I allow you in my space, and I'm hoping as the person that I'm dealing with, if you're allowing me in your space, because this is a valuable area. This is something that you just can't come touch. You can't and take part of it and think that it's okay and that's all it is to it. No, I am so valuable to the point that I see myself as that same piece of art that they have in a museum, enclosed or encamped around the thick glass that you can't touch. So here it is. You can see all you want, but to touch me is going to cost you something. To be around me is going to cost you something. And I think when you elevate your thinking to that degree, at that point, the unimaginable happens. And I think even though the experience that I had was not the best experience in the world, but it taught me a whole lot of lessons. And in that, I often say there's a perfume called Woman. I can remember when the perfume first came out. I went and bought the perfume. I didn't care what it cost because of the name. And I felt that the experience has allowed me to evolve into who I am. And I'm still evolving. So I feel great. I feel great about life. I feel great about where I am in my life. I think the best is still yet to come, and good things are continuously happening. Never skipped a beat. So it was just amazing that during that time in my life, I was afraid where there was no need for me to be afraid. So I had fear where there was no fear because I was accustomed to a routine. I was accustomed to having that person there with me. I was accustomed to the feeling that I'm in a marriage, but that was just it. But what I understand is that marriage is serious business. I had a pastor who was saying, he's so dear to me, that marriage is not for little boys and little girls. And to say that, hey, these some grown up decisions and you better know what comes with it. He also used to say that marriage is the acid test of life. And he still says that. And it's so true. It's true. I mean, I have grown, evolved, just in my thinking to certain heights that I didn't think like this before. And I'm enjoying it. You know, I know women who use their children as pawns. You know, they use the hurt that they have not gotten over as a way to let's have this dispute. Me and my ex get along great. I can pick up the phone, have a conversation, and I can appreciate that. You know, at the end of the day, he knows our priorities are our children. You know, he may not like my decisions. I may not like his decisions. At the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that we're doing the best we can do for our children.
So listen, you said so much, Deborah. Oh my God, a mouthful again. You have so much wisdom. I love it. This is such good. It's chock full of stuff. And like you said, you know, marriage is not for little boys and little girls. You definitely have a lot that you're taking under, and you have to try to make mature decisions, whether or not you might not be in a mature place or not, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a test. I see somebody say it's a testament to who you are, a reflection of you and how things came out. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, what do you say? Because I mean, we can't possibly go through every stage of, you know, what you went through coming through. And like, I'm by no means am I trying to make it seem like it was the worst thing ever. No, conversation I want to make sure we're having is, you know, we walk into something that's seamlessly supposed to be the best thing that ever happened to us, or we're so excited to get into this thing, and we are loving this person, caring about this person, and then things might not be the way we thought. What do you say to the person that feels stuck? What do you say to the person that feels like they don't have an identity outside of this marriage? What do you say to the person that knows something's wrong and it's literally tearing away at everything inside of them, right? I know you said now that you realize there was nothing to fear, but what do you say to that person that's there right now? And I'm going to ask you about a couple of different stages, because like, this is something that I don't think people talk enough about being in the different stages and how to manage that moment. So, you know, what if somebody that that's listening to us right now is saying, hey, I'm in this, I'm realizing this is not what I signed up for, and I've been trying and it's not doing anything different. And it's like, it feels like insanity. I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. What do you say to that person?
I first want to say that what they first probably need to do is make a like and don't like list. All of us have certain things about ourselves that we like, and we have certain things that we don't like. If it's not about ourselves, about the situation, that's the first thing. You have to acknowledge where you are in order to make an effective change. And I mean effective. You may not like what you see, but the mirror gives a reflection that only you can kind of pinpoint all the imperfections. So I think if you don't acknowledge where you are, you're not going to go to where you want to be. That's the first piece, the acknowledgement. Secondly, I think that a person needs to be honest with the acknowledgement, because there are certain things, or either with people, what they don't like is the finger to be pointed. I don't want you to point the finger and tell me my flaws. But technically, you can get off in a corner and you can point out your own flaws. You may not just want to face them. So when you face your own truths, that may be hurtful within itself. You can't do it by yourself. You may need to seek some counseling so somebody can help you to do this the healthy way. So you're not allowing your emotions, your bitterness, your anger to take over. And now you're starting to rationalize things in such a way that you're making the nonsense make sense. So I think that you have to be 100% practical and be for real and be your own truth to say, you know something, I know this is what I'm dealing with. If you don't want to confront it, it's not going to change. If you're not going to seek out help, you're not going to change. If you don't want wise counsel, you're not going to change. You have to make a decision that this is not where I want to be. And when you truly get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to seek change. You're going to seek change. When you truly understand your value and know I'm worth more than this, regardless of what your past have said to you, regardless of what that person you're choosing to be with has said to you or made you feel, you have to find an inner peace within yourself that may be so down deep in the core that is barely seen. But that beacon of light that's sitting there, you better learn how to pull from there and then find your way to a better place. So you may have to seek out in order to discover what is it that you need to help you go to your next level. Because the next level is there. It is there. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to stay stagnant. You don't have to stay in that place of lonely bar. You don't have to do that. You're choosing to do that. It's a choice. It is a choice. Everything we do is a choice. Like how you made mention earlier, the cheating, it's a choice. I believe anything you do, it's a choice.
It is. Yes, it is. That's so good. I think this is really good that you pointed out. I love that when I asked you that question, you pointed inward to the idea of not pointing all the fingers like, oh. But what about me? What am I contributing to this? What is the real situation? And being courageous enough to open your eyes and call a thing, right? That's the thing that sometimes you can't even fix, like you said, what you won't acknowledge.
That's right.
You can't even begin to think about if this is healthy or unhealthy, or beginning to unpack what it really is. And I love that you brought up the idea of if you're not able to do it by yourself, absolutely, I promote therapy, counseling, all of it. It's absolutely necessary. And it doesn't always have to be marital counseling. Sometimes it's just you going to counseling and sort some things out. Like, am I thinking right? Like, what's going on here? I don't feel good. There are people that go into cycles of depression and literally feel lonely. I think I read a meme the other day that said, there's no greater loneliness when you're around a whole bunch of people and you really feel like you're by yourself.
That's true.
And you feel like you really can't say anything. So being there, not wanting to admit that that's what you really feel because there's some guilt or shame attached to that, right? And even like I was talking about the other day about trauma, understanding when, like, I think I've heard somebody say, well, that person didn't hit me, or that this person didn't, they didn't, try to harm me. And that was, and because of that, they weren't honest about the fact that they don't have any intimacy. They don't have any closeness. I'm not talking about anything sexual or physical. I'm talking about intimacy. I'm talking about, I don't know you for real. And they wouldn't acknowledge that only you know what the fractures are in your foundation, right? We talk about having a good foundation. Is you have to be able to say where those fractures are and be honest about what they are before you attempt to fix the foundation. So you just gave so much good stuff. And that's why I wanted to start talking about it, because I think a lot of people, I heard Patricia say earlier about finding your voice. Like, a lot of people don't know their voice. They kind of feel like they don't have one. And even if they say something, will anybody hear? Right? Was anybody hear them? And really, or what does it matter if they say something anyway? Right.
Right.
Okay. So then my next question is, okay, so we're identifying the problem. We're saying, hey, this is something I need to look at. I'm putting it down, and I'm saying, I'm realizing this is not okay as is, right? Let's say somebody decided to leave. And even though they believe that for whatever reason, maybe they went through all the steps and this person, they started to dissolve and go their separate ways. What do you say to the person that literally feels like, maybe I was in a marriage for 20 years. Maybe I was with somebody for, 30 years, or even 5 or 10 years, or we have kids together, and I felt like I was a wife, or I felt like I was a mother, so much so that I lost my identity. Lost who I felt like I was. I don't know who I am. How do I regain that? How do I not cry myself to sleep every night? How do I learn how to go forward with this empty feeling? Like, I feel like I left. I feel like I was with somebody and I was whole. And although I know I should have left, now I feel half of it. And I feel it's like, I hear people say divorce is there's a grief attached to divorce. How does that woman learn how to go forward?
I think, first of all, you have to know that you have to have that innate ability, something in you to say, if it has not manifested yet, but to say, I have to decide to begin again. Am I saying that right? I have to decide to begin again.
Yeah.
And it's not easy because, like you said, divorce is like a death. It's a separation. It is a detachment from something that you once attached to. And unlike death, where you may not see that person visually, you can still see that person. I may be in the store or whatever the case may be. You can still see that person physically. They still are there. So I think if you're in a situation like that, you have to forgive yourself from whatever you're dealing with. You got to deal with pride, because even though pride may not come off haughty, there's other ways pride can be seen that a person could be dealing with it. And it could be dealing with it to the standpoint that they're not even recognizing that, hey, I'm dealing with some pride issues, even in my hurt. If you, like I made mention, if you can't get up and begin again on your own, you got to look at the support group that's around you. Or do you have a support system? Because you may have to get to the point of creating a support system. Go back and think about what type of things prior to marriage that made you happy. What did you like to do? A lot of times our giftings and what we have been called to do in life is already around us. It's just a matter of us discovering it. What makes you feel whole again? Maybe you have to go and look into, certain career options and say, hey, I used to want to do this. Well, my whole thought process is, if you are on this side of the earth and you're still breathing, you're able to communicate, and you got life in you, that means there's something here that's worth living.
Yes.
And if your life is not worth living, then we're going to have a bigger problem. But if someone at least take a moment and think about it, that it's more to life than this. This is the end, because I still have the capacity to live.
Yeah.
So here's my favorite thought process. Like my big brother Rick, God rest his soul, would always say, why not you? Why not you? Why not you be the one with the comeback? Why not you be the one with the bounce back after something that has happened? And knowing this, like it's often said, you're not the first and you definitely won't be the last.
Listen.
So why not give yourself everything as opposed to sitting back and watching somebody else do it?
That's good. No. And that's it. That's it. And I hope everybody's hearing that, because I'm telling you, you don't know what people are going through. Sometimes people struggle and they do it so privately, because they do have shame and guilt attached to it. Like, so many people make their identity the failure or the success of a relationship. I mean, let's be honest. Oh my God, if if a relationship failed, they want to tuck and hide. It's like, oh my God, I couldn't even keep a man. The thoughts in their head, or I couldn't, be successful here. And it even happens in parenting, all those different type of things where you feel your worth is attached to the success of a situation, and to uncouple from that and to realize you are a whole person, whole, or you should have been whole before you went into that situation. But guess what? Regardless of if you were before you were there or if you became whole, you're going to be whole now. And you can find wholeness, and it has nothing to do with a mate. It has nothing to do with another person. It has everything with you discovering purpose. It has everything with you discovering what you like, what you're good at, what you were put on this earth for. If you are here, it is a reason for you to be here. And relearning who you were is so it's so important to be able to find that. And if you can't find it on your own, definitely get you a therapist to help walk you through this. It's not easy. And if you don't have people that you can trust in the circle that can help you with this, you definitely need to get somebody that's going to be able to walk this through. But it's possible, and not be in this place, this sunken place, right? Like, not to act like you're a whole leper because you're divorced. Like, I've heard people say, oh my God, it's almost like it's the people put their finger up. No, you divorced. Oh, how many times? And people love to be so they throw so much venom behind it. I even heard somebody say, oh, she been divorced two times. And I'm like, you don't know her story. You don't even know her story. How dare you judge her off of something you don't know? And you see it as that. I see it as maybe she walked into a situation and thought it was right. And when she realized it was not right, after she's done the thing, she was courageous enough to say, no, I'm not going to live this. Versus a person that might be married for 40 or 50 years and be living in the whole hellish situation and cannot find their voice, or won't be honest about the fact that this is literally tearing them apart. So I don't judge a thing, and we need to not do that either. And this is giving life to somebody who might have not been able to even think that way. So I'm loving this conversation. I really do. Stuff.
I know there was a saying that my pastor used to say, well, he still says, and I keep saying this: failure is written in pencil. It's not permanent.
Yes.
It's not permanent.
Yes.
The ink is not on the paper.
It's not. It is not.
So when things don't work out, just know there's a possibility that things can either get better in a situation, or either each individual can choose to make the situation better by making a decision that is best for the both of them.
Yes. So, yes. And maybe in that situation, the best decision is for you to separate. And like you said, if we have to co-parent these kids and they know we love them equally and we're putting them first, maybe that's best for them versus us staying and knowing that we're not doing this well and this is not working well for us. And they're demonstrating that poorness in front of the kids, because kids are smarter than you think.
Very smart.
I hate when people say, oh, I'm just staying for the kids. I'm like, I don't know if that's enough. I haven't been married, but I don't know. Because let me tell you something. Everybody who's ever said that, the kids come back out and say, well, we saw all that. We could tell y'all couldn't stand each other. And unfortunately, whether you acknowledge it or not, kids don't just do what you say. Kids do what they see.
Right.
So if you don't even have your self-worth, you don't realize that you are showing, unfortunately, you're showing your kids that that's okay. Because, I think that's why a lot of women deal with things. We talk about Women's History Month. I think the thing that I get so concerned about is this whole Superwoman Syndrome thing. Right. This whole idea that I'm every woman. I'm a cook, clean, write 3 books, go work 10 hours a day, get all the laundry done, go to write 3 plays, 2 books, start a business on the side, and still have enough time to make cookies for the PTA. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, it's good to do everything, but as much as you can do, but to not have to be this measuring stick of
Exactly.
that I have to be every woman. You know, everybody say I'm every woman, and it's such a cute song, but I start to hate the song a little bit because I really feel like we almost have a badge of honor about overexhausting and overwhelming ourselves, and to be everything to everybody. And actually, we're failing at one major part. We're not being good to ourselves.
Right.
We're not being. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't. You can't be everything to everybody else and be literally empty inside. You know, that's where we have to be advocates for ourselves. So, like, that's so good that you mentioned all of that. It's so much. It's so deep. It's so much. So many pieces of this. But this is good to even start talking about this. I'm hoping somebody's hearing this and hearing all the different pieces. Look, I'm gonna get some of the comments. Patricia said, this is when you were talking about the relationships. She said she's been in a place of stagnation and loneliness before, where she was too afraid to move until she was tired of the abuse.
Wow.
And she said in the beginning, she believed that her relationship was normal. That's real. That's so real. And I appreciate your transparency, Patricia.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I think that's hard when, you know, that's the honest truth for people. You become stuck.
Right.
And in being stuck, you become lonely.
Right.
Nobody really will understand you, and you become afraid, and you really just, you're there in this spot, and you really think nobody sees you. And after a while, you normalize it. You stay in a thing long enough, you start to believe this is, you know, and having that courage to say, you know what, this can't be life. I can't, especially if it's abuse happening. I can't be here and able to find a voice so that you can move. So good. Trisha said another thing. She said she's been there before, lonely in a crowd. I mean, how many times I've been there before? Shoot, I've been out partying before, and I'm like, why do I feel alone? Everybody having a good time, and I'm sitting here like, what is going on? I don't know if I fit in here, right? Let's see. Tracy said you have to learn how to build yourself up. Understand that you're worthy to be happy again. This is after you're in the situation, and remember who you were before that relationship.
That's right.
So good. That's so good. That's what you were talking about, being able to realize, hey, who am I? What are my innate abilities? What are the things that make me me? And being honest and being able to resurrect those things, right? Rediscover, you know. And if you don't know who those things are, put in the energy into finding who you are. That's a Tracy, a different Tracy, John Charles says, rediscovery, resurrect your dreams. I love that. I love it. That's what it's about, rebuilding. Really, hey, maybe I forgot who I was, but that's okay. Let me invest the energy into remembering. Let me invest the energy into recreating. And hey, let me see, what are those dreams? Maybe I always wanted to be a dancer. Who says it's too late? I saw a video with Debbie Allen the other day. I love Debbie Allen. She is amazing. I think she's 60 something.
Right, she is.
Dancing, leading dance classes. I love it. Who said I can't do it?
I know that's right.
And why not? You know, who said it? Let's see. Another thing Tracy says is sometimes we have to redefine our purpose, especially when you lose yourself.
True.
And that losing yourself thing is a dangerous thing.
It is.
But you can bounce back. I love when you said failure is not written with a pen. Come on, y'all. Y'all better write that down. Failure is not written with a pen. It is in pencil. You go ahead. Or, you know, like the way I heard somebody say it too is great. They said, we live to fight another day. You might have lost the war, but you didn't lose the battle. So I guess war is a little thing and the battle is the whole thing. This is like the same thing, or I'm thinking about bowling too. So you might have lost this round, but we still have more to go. You know what I'm saying? You're not the summation. You're the summation of it all. It's not this one thing. Like, yeah, I failed here, but get up again.
Right.
Get up again. Every time that you're willing to get up, you have won because you literally did not choose to lay there and stay there. Right?
That's right. That's right.
And not accepting that and not making your failure your identity.
That's right.
Call me a divorcee. I'm somebody who was married and I'm divorced. It was a part of my life. It's not who I am. I'm wearing that like a brown cloth. I'm not a leper. I'm not wearing that like it's who I am. That's a part of what happened in me. But I also had some amazing times in my marriage. And I have beautiful children that became from my marriage. And I'm a whole person outside of my marriage. Okay? About that. So that is so good. And let's see, there's one last comment that I want you to end us out. Patricia said, we move from one relationship to another way too quickly. Now that's a whole
nother conversation. I am going to say this. First of all, let me just say, it took me a few years to make a decision. No contact. And of course, jumping into another relationship, I think that's what women do. In the midst of, there's a sense of loss. You're trying to figure it all out. And I think spending that quality time with yourself, because I'm sure I can probably pick on one hand, how many people I've dealt with. And it's been several years. And again, it goes back to me knowing the value that I bring to the table.
Right.
And she's correct. Sometimes people jump into things way too fast because they want a quick fix. Mm-hmm. They want the feeling sometimes that they once had, or that sense of wanting to feel like somebody want to be with me, or I want to be with somebody, or that sense of loneliness, that sense of, all of the other negative feelings that's allowing you to think that you want to be involved in something that you're not mentally ready for.
Yep. You haven't really even detoxed from what you last were in.
Right.
Let's go another step further. You still got that all on top of you. Let's just be real. Just because you left a situation don't mean that situation left your heart. There are remnants there. There are things that you have to do to go and declutter your declutter your emotions. We talk about baggage. This is how baggage is carried over because nobody ever unpacked. Come on, that's a whole.
Right. That's a good one.
Nobody ever unpacked. You going from one trip to another. I've heard people say silly things, and like the way to get over one man or whether way to get over another person is to get under another one. Like, come on, y'all. It got to be okay. You have to be at a point where you value the work. We talk about getting to the place, but what's the process? Yeah, the process is not always fun, but the process is necessary. Being able to be okay with being processed and being necessary, understanding that in that process, like, this is a good analogy. I just got a car and it was a certified car. And the reason that you pay a little bit more for certified cars is because it goes through 161 point inspection and process. And they go through to make sure that, they check all, they dot all their I's and they cross all their T's, and they make sure, and it takes longer to get those vehicles. They don't just turn over right away. They have to go through this process, and it's carefully done so that they stand behind it. And so when the stamp is put on it, this is a quality product that we put our name behind, and therefore we can put a warranty out on it because we stand behind our process. And so ladies, let's in this season, no matter if we're talking about a romantic relationship, no matter if we're talking about friendships, no matter if we're talking about any type of relationship, let's make sure that we dot all our I's, cross all our T's, do the work, be self-aware, and allow ourselves to be processed, whether it hurts or not, whether it's uncomfortable or not, whether it might feel foreign or not. Because guess what? Let's be honest. There's some people who's never been alone. They literally are serial relationship people. They literally have jumped from one thing to another, and they don't even know who they are because they literally haven't given themselves enough time. And this is not me talking about anybody. This is me saying a lot of times that's why you don't know why you feel empty, is because you really haven't got to know you. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you good at? What are you on this earth for? Somebody walked up to you today and asked you, why did God let you be born? Why are you here? Why did he spare your life? If you don't know that, then that means you have work to do. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing to be upset about or mad. It just means that there's something for you to figure out. So putting that energy into the process is important, and it's necessary. So this was great. Oh my God. I think we could sit and talk forever. I can't believe it's already been over an hour. It's just been a good conversation all the way around. Thank you so much, Debra, for
You're welcome. You're
my
welcome.
God. I'm just so honored that you even took your time out of your day to come on here. You brought so much wisdom. You brought so much transparency. You brought so much just another layer of the process and how we are and how we need to be, working our systems, and making sure we're doing the work. Do you have any last words? Anything else you want to share?
Oh, I just want to say that when it comes to womanhood, we carry a lot of hats, or we wear a lot of hats. I think that it's important for us to, like, as we mentioned throughout this entire broadcast, to know who you are. I think individuality is very important in a relationship. If you're bringing your 100 game and I'm bringing my 100 game, then that should be 200. There's going to be some days where I may not be 100. I may be 70, and I need you to bring your extra 30 to your 100. So that makes what? 130.
Yes.
And that's how it works. And I just believe that you know exactly where you need to be to create your peace. And you shouldn't allow or put yourself in a situation where you're allowing anything less than. Peace is important. Sanity is important. Your sense of self is important. Who you are is important. Your very existence is important. And everything that you bring to the table is important. But it's only going to be valued if you value it first. If you don't value it, you're going to let any and everybody, or what you just got out of, because remember that residue is still on you. So you have to know what you don't want. You have to know what you require. And as you are studying, because I'm not old, but I am old school because I believe in courtship. I do believe that at that point, I am examining, I'm studying, I'm watching, I'm observing, I'm seeing. So with all these things that I'm doing, I'm trying to check things off to see or to evaluate, is this what I want to do? And from that, know that it's okay to have a conversation where we both are being responsible to hear each other through, that you're not allowing your emotions to perceive a thing that's not there. And ultimately, you're bringing your best game to the table. So that's the key. You bring your best, he bring his best, and you two go from there. Respect is real. And I think that through it all, if you can respect yourself, you will do nothing more than demand respect from those who you allow in your circle. Being around you is a privilege. It's a privilege. So everybody don't get into your space. Value your space. Everybody cannot, will not, and should not be allowed to have easy access. It's going to take work to get up in this one.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Debra, oh, this is amazing. I appreciate you. Ladies, I know that you guys have gotten so much from this because I have. This is all good. It's not just about, I think the one thing I really want people to understand about is relationships. We love relationships, but at the core of relationships, there are people and there's self. And that's myself and that other person's self, you, and understanding that the way to a healthy relationship is two whole people that are emotionally healthy and mentally healthy and able to, be in this situation and talk and deal with each other healthily, right? And understanding that, this is my space. I value my peace. Mm-hmm. Protect what's in my, listen, y'all know how I feel about peace now. That's the thing for me. Once you find real peace, baby, you protect it at all costs. Do you hear? You protect it at all costs. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Y'all know my favorite word, boundaries. It's boundaries. And being able to say, you know what? If you get into my space, I have let you into my space. And if you don't act right, I will kindly escort you out of it. Okay? And without any type of feelings about it. But this was a great conversation. We're gonna have to do this again one day, Debra. Would you? I hopefully grace our presence again, and we can have another conversation, because I'm sure we can go so many different ways with all this stuff, right?
True. I know. You are exactly right, Paris.
So, and Debra, if people wanted to get in touch with you, do you have any projects coming up? Is there anything people can look if they want to know more about you?
I do have a project coming up. I'm actually working on a book that will be done by the end of this month. And the title of that book is called Why Not You? I'm also completing a calendar that I have some very, oh, wow, awesome women, awesome, you being one of them, who will be telling a little bit of their story in this calendar. So I am a type of person I like to encourage, I like to inspire, because I believe that with every situation, the best is yet to come, even if it doesn't look like it in that moment. I'm also working on what I call, which my daughter keeps telling me to stop calling them career cards, but they are more so career in life. I think that sometimes people get stuck. People don't necessarily have the vision of where they want to go. And sometimes it's just a matter of going in, digging deep, and pulling out what's already in you. And sometimes it has to be in the presence of more so a forum. Let's talk about it. So now you're getting different views, and that's kind of what the cards are about. I'll be having a event at Marquette Park. And of course, if anybody want to get in contact with me at this point, I'm on Facebook until I get everything up and running. So you can just inbox me.
Listen, I'm gonna put her. I tagged her here. I'm gonna put her name in here so you guys can look for her on Facebook. I'm sure she's coming. Listen, I know she has come up. She's being very modest. Y'all, this book is gonna be off the chain. Okay, y'all want to get it. So when I see it, I'm gonna promote it as well. And the calendar. Let me tell y'all don't even know what y'all about to see. Y'all have no idea who you're in the presence of. But I love being around strong women who celebrate each other and have went through some things and come out like, hey, this is me. I mean, and listen, we're not cowering, we're not shrinking, we're here, and we're walking in the authority of who we're meant to be, and we're going to do everything we're supposed to do. So I love it. Again, Debra, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For rocking with me in the comments. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all always coming in. Tracy, I know you said you just came in a little late. Listen, go back and watch the replay. It was so good. And y'all know how I feel. Please share this with somebody. Okay. I always ask, but share it, because you don't know who could use this conversation. You don't know who could be helped out. So share it on your page, tag people in it. And let me know if you're watching the replay. And this is Thursday, so you already know we're going into the weekend. I won't see y'all till Tuesday. So I'll always end it. You are enough. And I'm going to say it till you believe it. I'm going to say it every single time till you really believe it. You want to know what you're enough to do? You're enough to invest in learning you. You're enough in rediscover, putting that energy back into who you are, building you. And you're the greatest investment. Like the return on investment, the ROI is so strong when you put it into yourself. So I need you to understand you are enough. You don't have to add anything. You don't have to take anything away. Just as you are, you're enough. And I'm going to say it every single day until y'all believe it. I really am. Every single time. Y'all gonna get tired of me. Y'all say it in your sleep and be like, that darn Paris done said and mess around and start believing it. And if you need a shirt to show it to you, go onto my website, www.parispjohnson.com. Cop that thing so you can let everybody know and be an inspiration to them, because somebody else needs to hear it as well. And I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Y'all know how I feel about self-care. Do something nice for yourself. Go ahead and take a nice long bath. Go cook a nice meal. Walk outside. The weather is starting to break. Hallelujah. Okay, if you're in Chicago, it's starting to break a little bit. Do something nice. Get some sun. And I'll see y'all again on Tuesday. We'll have another dynamic speaker next week. So ciao.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.